If you want to have personal influence on other people, you've got to master your willpower, which means you have to craft your own environment to be successful. I was talking to one of my friends. He's like, I wanted to lose weight for a long time. It wasn't until I joined a gym, but it had a specific, it was like group classes. It was like where I was in this environment, I had to show up. He's like, when I did that, he's like, I lost weight, I got healthy, and everything happened very, very quickly because I crafted the environment. Hey, this is Russell. Welcome back to my vault. Today, I have got two treasures. I've only found 2 copies of this ever. It's called The Philosophy of Personal Influence. Each one of these cost me $1,500. There's only, again, 2 that I've ever had a chance to find. But I love this because personal influence is such a big concept for any of us, right? Because it's twofold. Number one is like, how do you personally influence yourself? But then number 2 is, how do you influence other people? Like, what's the philosophy of it? The more you understand the philosophy, the more likely you are to have success. The authors of these magazines, there's 2 of them. One's named E. Virgil Neal and then X. Lamute Sage. So again, 2 people I've never heard of before. But they started this magazine back in the early 1900s. And they were both hypnotists. So, using hypnotic techniques to, for all sorts of stuff, for stage hypnosis, for surgeries, things like that. How do you use these concepts, these principles for personal influence? And so the very first thing that they talk about in these magazines that I thought was really interesting is that the first thing to understand is you have to master willpower for yourself. Like, you cannot personally influence and persuade other people if you haven't learned how to personally influence yourself. And this is a fascinating thing. I see a lot of people, obviously, who come into my world, they see an ad, they see a video, and they're like, I want to start a business online. So they go and they buy Expert Secrets or one of my books, they read it, and then they're here and they're trying to figure out how to persuade other people, how to help them, how to use their expertise. It's interesting because what I see with a lot of these people initially is that they haven't figured out how to master themselves first. And so it's very difficult to go and influence somebody else if you haven't mastered it yourself first, because people can see it, they can feel it. Even if they don't know what it is, they're like, there's some reason why I don't want to I'm on the webinar, but I'm not buying that thing, or I'm seeing them socially, but I'm not connecting, I'm not following. And it's typically because of this, because they haven't mastered themselves first. Like, that's always the first step in this, right? Again, in the early 1900s, a lot of people focused more on just willpower. If you fast forward to today, there's a lot of really good books about it. One of my favorite is by Dr. Benjamin Hardy I think it's called Willpower Doesn't Work. And what he talks about is how hard willpower is. We have this window where we're trying to will ourselves. Like, I'm going to eat healthy, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to do whatever. So we create this willpower, but willpower is finite. Like, it runs out of energy over time, right? So that's why so many people I'm going to use my willpower, I'm going to set my New Year's resolutions, we're going to change the world. And you try for a little bit, then what happens? You start pushing for a little bit, and then it all crumbles and it falls apart because your willpower runs out of energy and excitement and those things, and they kind of crush, right? And so his premise in the book is that willpower is fleeting, but the only thing that actually causes lasting change is by changing your environment. Knowing that you have to have the willpower, it's like, how do you structure your environment where willpower is no longer necessary? I was talking to one of my friends. He's like, I wanted to lose weight for a long time. He's like, it wasn't until I joined a gym, but it had a specific, it was like group classes. It was like where I was in this environment, I had to show up, everyone was there, we were all sitting there together. There's a concept in ADHD called body doubling, where it's like when you're with other people, it doubles your productivity too. So I'm body doubling, I'm with other people, I got this environment. Because I'm in the environment, if I'm working out by myself, I'm going to be lazy. I'm going to some days I might be motivated, other days I'm not, but when I'm in an environment with other people, he's like, that environment creates the atmosphere I need to be successful. He's like, when I did that, he's like, I lost weight, I got healthy, and everything happened very, very quickly because I crafted the environment. The next phase then is understanding for you to be able to have personal influence on other people, right? It's not just a fleeting oh, they got my email, they liked it. Oh, they saw this video, they saw me on TikTok. Those things are a flash in the pan. They dissipate, they disappear, right? For you to be able to actually have personal influence on somebody, it's also about creating environments. If I look at our business, right? When we launched ClickFunnels initially, people were signing up. It was kind of this segmented thing. It's like, we need to gather people together and create an environment. And so we created the very first Funnel Hacking Live event, right? We created this environment. We brought people into that environment, and it gave us the chance to have influence on people. While we were there, the very first Funnel Hacking Live ever, those who were there 10 years ago, 11 years ago now, crazy. It was in Las Vegas. People were coming in and we need to infuse our personality, what we do into this. And so to build ClickFunnels, we do these things called hackathons where we'd all get together, we jam in a room, and we sit around computers and we would just work. And so the first few Funnel Hacking Lives, we weave that into the events. So people would come and it's like, hey guys, we're doing hackathon the next 3 hours. Get your laptops out and go find somewhere in the hallways and find a couple people and actually build funnels, create something amazing. And so we forced people to do these hackathons, and it started this thing where it started sticking, where people when people left from Funnel Hacking Live, they would get to people locally and they'd get together in their own little environments to model and match what we had created with them, right? They came to an environment where they learned the model, and then we were able to influence them inside apply that. And then from there, they went home and be able to go and create their own versions of that, right? In my inner circle, right? Literally, if you go to innercircleforlife.com, that is the sign up page for people who join my inner circle program. And the headline is all about the room where it happens. In fact, if you watch the video, we literally ripped the audio from Hamilton where he's singing the room where it happens. And it shows clips and videos of these rooms that we curate and that we create where things are happening. Okay, why am I doing that? I've got your attention for 10 minutes maybe, right? And then you're off to the next thing. You're swiping, you're moving. I have to pull you from situations like this, create environments, bring you there. And this is how I can actually have influence on you, okay? It does not happen in a short-term hit like this. It happens in environments. And so for Inner Circle, I create environments for, there's events, there's different type of events, there's things we do at the events, there's things we experience at these events. We're taking people to Mexico, we're going on cruises, we're taking them to Baltimore, which was actually insanely cool because that environment was different, right? My Atlas group, the group pays me $150,000 a year. I was saying, I'm like, what's the environment I need to create to give these guys the breakthrough? And when I told them all we're going to Baltimore, they're like, wait, last year we went to Arizona, we were hot tubbing and swimming and goofing off and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to Baltimore. And like, why Baltimore? I'm like, the reason I took them to Baltimore is because at Baltimore happens to be the largest company in the world who does direct response marketing in our space. It's a company called Agora Publishing. They do like $1.5 billion a year selling a $49 financial newsletter. We get in this thing and the environment was unique. It was interesting, right? And everyone got in there. First off, everyone gets there like, this feels different. I'm not sure what to expect. And I was like, you guys, we're here today because we're going to change how you view business forever. Like you've been all in the Russell Brunson world. We all view business this way, which is great. We've all had success. But I'm like, but Russell's not doing $1.5 billion a year. These guys are. What do they know that we don't know? And I was like, I needed to bring you to this environment, this situation, because it's going to impact you different. I can influence you differently here than I can in my office in Boise, Idaho, right? So we bring into Baltimore, bring in this crazy place, and then we had people from their team come and actually share their ideas. And because of the environment, everything else shifted because of it. We were able to influence people at a much deeper level. And when everyone was flying home from the event in the group chat we have, everyone's like, I'm not gonna lie, I did not want to go to Baltimore, Maryland. Like it made no sense why we went here. I didn't know who Agora was, but they're like, because of that environment you created, like I had the ahas, the breakthrough, the shifts I actually needed, right? So the environment is how you actually have the influence on people you want to have. This is the message and the lesson I want you to really get from mastering yourself first. And then number two is then that way you can master other people. And realizing, and again, this wasn't talked about in these magazines, but fast forwarding 100 years through history and research and stuff we know, the way to master your willpower is through the crafting and creating of environments. For any of you guys who would be interested in some of the core philosophies, because again, there's a lot of hypnotism weaved into here. There's a lot of other cool principles that they talked about that I thought were fascinating and fun. Maybe not, all of you guys would geek out on it, but some of you guys would be like, give me everything. So we'll have my notes down below from both these magazines. If you click down below, you get notes for free. That way you can have a chance to glimpse inside of these rare artifacts that have literally been lost to time, where you can learn more about how to have more personal influence on yourself, but then also on the people that you've been called to serve. So I hope you enjoy this. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys on the next video.